Hey,
Hey,
leaders, we're back.
What
You're
up,
back.
Pros
I'm glad you're alive.
and girls. Drumline.
Drumline. Where do we begin?
Alright. So you know how in Hollywood, let's step back. Let's take a step
Okay,
back.
I like this.
You know how in Hollywood, it's all about remakes now, and like, we talk about how there's like no original ideas, and I've always said, like, if I make a movie, I'm never gonna do a remake.
Yes.
I want to remake this movie.
You want to remake Drumline?
I want to remake Drumline.
Do you want to make a sequel, or you want to remake, just completely reboot
Remake it.
Reboot it.
Remake.
Reboot. We got to reduce
I guess
no Nick Cannon.
we need the Spider-Man Drumline.
We got a Spider-Man Drumline.
We got a Spider-Man Drumline.
Okay.
Because there is a really, really good entertaining movie in there. Deep down, it's there.
There's music.
Yeah, and so what you got to get rid of all the Nick Cannon parts. Anything that has to do with Nick Cannon, take it out.
Okay.
Kind of. This is how you think. This is how I think you make a good drum line. Because the final drum battle is amazingly cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazingly cool. Why did that take 2 hours to get to?
Yeah, 2 hours, 2 full hours.
2 full hours. And the drumming they do is kind of cool, but it's about the band for some reason. It's about
One band, one sound.
No, the movie isn't called One Band, One Sound.
A fucking drumline.
So, okay, this is what I would do. Remember Jobs?
Yeah.
With,
Yes.
what's his face?
Yes, Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Yes, with Fassbender.
Yes.
You know how
Seth
it was?
Rogen.
You know how it was? Oh, yeah, Seth Rogen was a great movie. You know how it was just like 3 scenes?
Yeah.
That's what Drumline should have been.
Well, so Drumline should have been a beautiful art piece.
No, like the more entertaining version of that, the more popcorn flick version of that.
Okay.
It should have been. This is how I see the remake in my head. It's like 5 separate scenes throughout the one season. You see this guy, and each scene ends with a crazy drum thing.
Yeah.
The first scene maybe is at band practice, and maybe he could have a discipline problem.
Yeah, he should.
And he has
I
a
like that.
discipline
This is
problem
about-
for the first 20 minutes. And then at the end, though, you get to see how good he really is. He
Yeah.
just has you know, he did all that. And then, first game.
Can you get somebody who can actually drum?
Someone
Or do you do the shots again like how they did the shots?
You can use it like a real drummer, but they have to be proficient enough to look like they're drumming.
So no Nick Cannon shit where it's like...
No, where it was like, you nailed that part, where it's like, up here, down here, up here, down here. No, none of that. Make it look like you're drumming. Dub over sound. No
Bradley Cooper shit. That's how I was born. We don't know if he's playing the guitar, but it looked like he was.
Yeah, no one fucking
Yeah.
Even if they could drum perfect, but
If they can drum great.
But you know what I mean? Actually, Hollywood is filled with talented people. I'm sure there's
Dude,
a guy
there's guys who can drum and act.
Drum and act. Like,
Absolutely.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely. That's not far.
There's probably an actual real drummer
Yeah.
in a band who can act.
Yeah, they might live in our apartment complex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hollywood is like that. But yeah. It's just that. Different scenes. Different, like, oh, hey, you show them then the next scene after the band camp is the first football game. Then the first competition. Then the first drum off.
And he still maybe gets in a fight. He still maybe some drama shit.
Yeah,
I
but
get
you
that.
don't see anything around it.
Yes.
No, you don't see the band. You see these characters. Sort of like Jobs. You don't know what they're going through outside of the interaction with Jobs. Everything's so.
Is there still a love story in your drum line?
The drum line. Maybe, sure, why not?
No Zoe. If you get Zoe Saldana, you gotta use her.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think that you could have a love story. You could have a better love story than Zoe. That was a bad one. That was a very bad one. She lets him drive her car, or she lets him drive her car for no reason. He can't drive. Yeah, that's supposed to be like a love scene.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then she pretends not to know him because he starts the fight. And her parents call her a hoodlum. Yo, like, I don't like Devin, but the fight was not his fault.
No, the other guy overreacted for sure.
Yeah.
The other guy 1,000% overreacted.
Yeah, also, based on, like, the final drum scene at the end where they're playing on the other people's drums,
Yeah.
clearly that's what happens in the drum battle.
Well, don't you love the callback where he clenches like, I would fight, but I learned a lesson.
I learned a lesson.
Again, you return.
But that fight was not his fault.
No!
But everyone keeps blaming him for it.
Because that wasn't in the script. I would blame him for that. As it's just like, hey, bro, don't be calling your own plays out there.
Yeah.
As far as like, why are you? That wasn't in the rehearsed thing. We have our thing rehearsed, and then you go.
And then you go out of your way to...
That's what I'm saying, to start some shit. I get that, but of course, at the fight, though, is the other guy, like, bro, relax. I'm drumming on a drum.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. And then she gets back with him because he, like, learns the value of teamwork.
He learns the value of teamwork.
Yeah.
Which that dude, I'm telling you, and I've never told you this, nigga, nothing is pussy wetter.
Learning the value of teamwork.
And watching somebody learn the value of teamwork, bro.
Yeah.
That shit, that's why women love sports movies.
Bro,
Mighty Ducks.
I literally wrote that down. It said something along the lines of, nothing gets the girl back like learning the value of teamwork.
Dude, women love that shit.
Women love that. Women love...
a man who didn't understand.
Who didn't understand, but now understands...
the value of, like,
working together.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you and me together.
I don't have to be the lead. You and me together can be so much more.
Yeah.
That shit gets women's clits going.
Yeah, especially when it's about drumming. You know, the thing that women are super into. Yeah.
Women are really into that shit.
Yeah.
Especially when you put on a goofy ass outfit.
Yeah. And a hat, like a Pope hat.
Halftime is game time.
Shut up.
Did you like the movie?
Huh?
We haven't talked about it. Did you like it? We did the whole thing.
Yeah.
What did you think of the movie?
I think I said. I wish there was just more of the end. In the whole movie, more of the drum battles. The movie was whatever.
Yeah.
It was what the
It's
fuck.
what the fuck.
It's what the... Yeah, no, whatever is a nice way to put it. It's like, what the fuck is this? And then you see the drum battle at the end, and you're like, yo, this could have been the whole movie.
Whole goddamn
Bro,
2 hours.
It could have just been a half an hour of that. That's the whole movie. It's just a half an hour of the last drum battle. Great movie, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, great way to spend a half an hour. But I had to wait 2 hours to get to that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, to watch. I don't watch Nick Cannon act for 2 hours.
That was the hard part. The drums aren't cool. The hard part, like if somebody like, hey, what's your critique of drum line? The drums are great. You got to get through Nick Cannon's acting, but
you know how they say there's some actors that elevate everyone around them.
Oh yeah,
Nick Cannon's the exact opposite.
Yeah, Nick Cannon is the opposite of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
like the 100% polar opposite.
I was watching the band director and being like, this band director's a good actor.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, this guy can act, but what like. It's just Nick Cannon's just so bad.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, getting mad. Like I got mad at just how they didn't discipline him. It's just what.
Yeah, he should have been kicked off the team a lot.
Yeah.
The moment the haircut thing is like, yo, fuck this guy.
No, the moment he came in the black shirt, he's the only one.
Fuck him, get him out. Yo, you're running around, get out. You're done. Came in black, get out.
And you know what's crazy is that like. The shots in this movie were amazing.
Yeah.
The camera work was great.
Dude, it's like some of the on the band's like coming out onto the field. Some of those camera works, like that's amazing.
The final battle where it's all dark around them.
Petey Pablo.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
I just want to say this was incredibly well directed, and to just waste it on such a
Nick Cannon
script. The script was bad.
Script's well, I'm sure
there's no point. There's no point to the script. They try to add character development, which, movies where there shouldn't be character, it's not like people like always think, oh, we're gonna add character development. I don't think you do.
Nope.
Not when your movie is drumline.
Nope. Let it be about the drumline. That's it.
Fast and the Furious isn't like, oh, we're watching him figure it out. No, he cares about family and he drives fast cars.
Wait, who are we talking about? Paul Walker or Vin Diesel?
Both. No.
Vin Diesel learned some lessons. Paul Walker just Paul Walker.
There's no character development in Vin Diesel, kind of.
You haven't seen them.
At least in the later ones.
So you're also
I'll stick to the one that's in the later ones.
Yeah.
They're the ones I love. There's no character development. They're just jumping through skyscrapers and shit.
Like, you see the early ones. That's gonna be so funny.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like, but the reason why I enjoy them is because they don't pretend to be more than they are.
Yeah, drumline could have been right down the money.
Yeah, drumline could have been
Fastball,
entertaining. Petey Pablo. Come on.
Way to go, buddy.
Come on.
You were awesome.
One of the best scenes in movies.
In movie history, dude.
Movie history.
Right up there with, like, you talking to me and motherfucker, do I look like a clown to you? Like all those good fellas, like, right up there.
Make him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah, right up with that.
Right next to Petey Pablo.
Who am I?
You're so funny, bro. If he did that today... That's all I can keep thinking. If he did that today... And then to sing a song that doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
No, it didn't fit.
It didn't fit at all.
It's like, this is a horrible song to play with marching band.
Yeah. Also, how come you didn't pick, like, the big song?
Because he was trying to get his new song popping.
Yeah.
Imagine if you only had 2 songs, right? And you're like, yo, nigga, I'll do the movie. I just want people to hear this third song I have.
I guess if he did do like Freak a Leak or whatever, it wouldn't have been the greatest movie scene of all time.
No, he couldn't have did. It would have been too much. Also, been too overpowering if he'd have did like North Carolina, come on, it rains, take his shirt off. He couldn't do that, bro. That place would have. No, that would have been the movie.
Yeah, that would have outshined the movie.
That would have. Oh my God, bro! If he didn't take his shirt off. Oh, Carol. Oh, man. Yeah, drumline, man.
Yeah. Pete Pablo. Good job.
Well done, Petey.
All right. See you in a bit.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Let's go.
Hey, we're back. We're still alive.
Hey, we somehow made it.
It's tricky.
Man. Life is hard.
Yeah. But enough with all that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the movie that you guys are here to see because you've seen it and you know it. He does it because he's a dumb fuck, but we love him anyway. Hassan, Jassim, Hebrew, him. What happens in the film, motion picture, movie, The Mummy?
Ah. Okay. Is this the Brendan Fraser one or the Tom Cruise one?
And that was great. And that was because they stand up the same thing.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go. This is the Brendan Fraser one.
Okay.
I think that's what you would do. I don't think you would go Tom Cruise one just because I think you'd want to watch the original Mummy. Was this the movie that you were looking for but couldn't find?
No. Still couldn't find it.
Okay. That sucks.
I know. I'm gonna find you.
Movie. And now, did this have to do with anything? The conversation we had about Brendan Fraser coming to the store?
No. This was I couldn't find the movie, and then also I couldn't rent the because I had a second place movie. Yeah. Couldn't rent that because iTunes wasn't working last night. So this was but you don't know what movie it is. But keep going.
Alright, so Brendan Fraser is some kind of archaeologist.
Aren't they always?
Yeah.
And that I can't even like because it's like obvious. But what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, right? Archaeologists aren't that interesting.
Yo, every movie there are. What is happening? But okay, I'm with you.
Some kind of archaeologist. There's a kid involved because I remember watching the Mummy cartoon. There's a cartoon a little while after Jackie Chan Adventure.
I remember this cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid is probably important in this movie. It's probably his kid. Oh, taking him on an archaeological.
Ooh, not a Back to the Future situation where it's just a random kid. It's just a random adult and a random kid. And we're not gonna talk about how.
Yeah. What do these like archaeologists bring? Like Jurassic Park, he brings his grandkids. Why are they bringing their kids on dates?
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. All right. So and then they find this ancient mummy tomb, and they open it, and it's cursed. And then the mummy comes back to life, wreaking havoc all over Egypt. And for some reason, only the archaeologist is equipped to deal with this situation.
The archaeologist is Brendan Fraser.
Well, yeah, because he knows the backstory of the king.
Because he's smart. He read the book.
Yeah, he read and he's like, oh, okay, they use this. In the cartoon, they had like a magical bracelet or whatever, so they got to use this magical bracelet.
He was afraid of bracelets in his past life. It's always something like he was afraid of bracelets.
Yeah, they gave him a rash, and then
and now he
just couldn't deal with it.
Can't do it still after 3,000 years.
Yeah. I still, you know what? In the cartoon, I remember the words they would say to make the bracelets work.
Yeah.
They would go Kujai Senyabek, and then the bracelet would work. That seems like a cartoon thing. I don't think that's in the movie.
No.
The kid and him and a eventual love interest get in these perilous situations with the mummy.
Uh-huh.
And there's probably a situation where he has to save both of them at the end, and then he does it. He puts the mummy back in the tomb.
That son of a bitch.
Everything is back to normal, and he lives happily ever after.
Wait.
Good job, Brendan Fraser.
But they made three or four. How is that the case?
It was a good enough job.
Clearly that can't be the case. They made so many of these.
Oh, I forgot that there are sequels. I don't know. This is what growing up, this is what it seemed to me. It seemed like the sequels were made after the first one did well. Meaning that they didn't write it. Plenty sequels.
I know. I'm with you. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, baby.
And that
is Hassan's
The Mummy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now,
that was a really entertaining.
As always,
right,
you described the second movie, which you always do. I don't know how because I'm assuming you haven't seen the second one, yes?
No, I haven't seen it.
How the fuck do you describe that movie? But also, that's not your fault. The cartoon. is based on the second movie.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, you're way off, but you nailed the second one. When that does come back into play, you'll be like, well, you can describe this again.
Wow. But it's not the first movie I've done this to.
I feel like, no, you've done this before. You've done it once before where you did the sequel, and I was like...
Kill Bill, I think I did.
Yeah, I was like, no. That's not at all. Yes, that happens, but not in this one at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about this one.
Yay! Brendan Fraser. We saw him at the store once. Sat in the front row.
You think it's... You don't know what we're about to go to. The movie starts...
If you say Tom Cruise, I'm going to be mad at you.
Pyramids in Egypt.
Right, well, you know. That's not a surprise.
Egyptian music. That shit kicks in. Lots of slaves, building statues, and cool statues and stuff. Like all the cool Egyptian stuff. You see all this, like, millions of slaves building all this shit. Mm-hmm. Narrator kicks in. Thebes, city of the living. That's how it sounds, right? Crown jewel of the pharaoh. Home of Imhotep. Okay? The pharaoh's high priest. Keeper of the dead. Birthplace of Anaxamun.
This is so intense.
No other man was allowed to touch her. And then they show Anaxamun, and it's this beautiful golden, like, woman in gold, like, makeup and all the paint all over her, right?
Right.
So, no other man was allowed to touch her. But for their love, they were willing to risk life itself. And then they show the Imhotep and the Anaxamun, they run up, and then they, like, wipe their hands over each other's faces, and then they make out.
Egyptian love.
Egyptian love. Forbidden love. This is the priest, this is the high priest woman.
Oh.
I mean, this is the pharaoh's woman. He's the pharaoh's high priest. Okay? So.
Ooh. Ooh. Intrigue.
So they make out, they start to make out, and while he's making out, he's kissing her, he's rubbing her shoulders, and he smears some of her paint. So some of her paint is smeared on her shoulder. Just a little bit, okay? And the pharaoh comes in, and he barges into the room, like this is the next shot, and she's like leaning on a thing like she did nothing wrong. You know, have that face like I didn't do anything wrong. And then he comes in, he screams some Egyptian shit, and then it says, who has touched you? And he points at her shoulder, and she sees the smudge, and she panics. And then she looks behind him, and then he turns around, and it's Imhotep. And he goes, Imhotep, my priest. And then she pulls out a sword, and she stabs him in the back. And then he pulls out his sword, and he stabs him in the front. And then they stab the shit out this motherfucker, like 100 times, just like smiling, going crazy, right? And then all his slaves are watching, the high priest slaves. They're all like, Imhotep slaves, they're like, you know? And then you hear a bunch of trembling on the door, and then finally, poof, all the high priests, all the pharaoh soldiers bust in.
Yeah.
They all bust in. And they're looking for him. And then she says, she tells them that you must leave. You guys have to leave me. You know, there's no way we're both going to get out of here. They're going to come find you. And then he was like, no, I won't leave you. And then she says, resurrect me in the next life. And he's like, I will resurrect you in the next life.
Ooh.
And then his priest come, right?
I like this.
Oh, it's great. I love this movie.
That's a good
movie. Yeah, I don't know how to say this yet, but this is a great movie.
Yeah.
So,
I can already see why this might got a sequel. I was like, this is good. Even if this is like, I don't know how Egyptian mythology is, but this is good fake.
Or how it looks. You also don't know how if it looks. This is just me describing it, so I will say that.
Okay.
Right? It does not look how I am describing it. Add a little more color.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Add a little more color. Not as dark as what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is happening.
I'm imagining it dark.
Imagine what you're imagining. Now throw some Willy Wonka shit on it. Okay. Throw some movie shit to make a sequel. You know what I mean? Throw that coloring on it. But plot's good.
Okay, you spit on me.
Sorry. So he's screaming, Anaxamun, Anaxamun, as his priests take him away, and then the guards come in, and then she goes, my body, in Egyptian, she goes, my body is no longer his temple. She stabs herself and kills herself, right? And then he screams, Anaxamun, and he watches like her shadow fall. Okay? Now, cut to, it's like a week or so later, right? And then he steals her, and he goes, you know, it's the narrator, and he's like, Imhotep rode back into the night to steal her corpse. And it shows him riding out with his corpse with his slaves. And he's like, and he took her body to the city of Hamunaptra, the city of the dead. And then it says Hamunaptra, 1290 BC, right? And then he goes, resting place for the wealthiest in Egypt. And then he goes, for his love for her, he even stole the Black Book of the Dead, right? And then it shows him stealing this black book. And then he goes, It says how her soul went to the black waters of the resting place, and her organs were stuffed in these 5 jars. And they had her, they had her body taken down to where the black water is, right? And then they put the jars around her body, and then he walks up and he's reading out the black book, and all of his priests are going, Anaksanamu, Anaksanamu, right? And then he's praying, and then out the water, this like crazy, weird spiritual shit, like looking thing comes out the water, and it like starts flying over the room, and then it goes. You know what I'm saying? And it goes into her body, and then he's about to stab some other slave woman to like finish, and it goes, right as he's about to finish the ritual, his guards come in, the Pharaoh's guards come in, and they fucking like stop him, and he's like, no, and he's like trying to stab, you know, and I knocks on the moon, and then the black water comes back out of the body, and like back into the water, right? And he's like, no, you know? So, cut to, now they're all at the bottom of another temple.
Right.
And his priests, it's the narrator, he goes, his priests were all condemned to death, to be mummified alive. And then you hear them scream, like all his priests like screaming and being tortured and like putting their like things, they're like, no, you know? And then, as for Imhotep, he was to receive the Hamdai, a curse so deadly it had never been bestowed before.
I like this.
Right?
I'm all in on this.
I can tell you love it.
Yeah,
so they cut his tongue out, right? And they wrap him up alive. And then he's panicking, right? Mm-hmm. And then they put him in a tomb, and then they drop these motherfucking blood. They look like beetles on him, bro. Mm-hmm. Right? And they're clearly like flesh. Man, they're flesh-eating bugs. Right? Because he's screaming, no! Ah! And then they close the tomb as he screams, right? So they lock him away, and then they lock him in another tomb, and then they put that tomb in another tomb, you know what I'm saying? And all these keys and shit, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, but they say how he can, you know, he'll be, where this is where his resting place for eternity. But they say how he can never rise again, for if he does, he will have the power and the glory of all the instability of Egypt, you know, and shit like that. And he will bring the 10 deadly sins upon, you know, everybody. And, you know, and they will know his power. And then it pans back, and you show, it's like, it pans up, and it's the huge, like, that dog statue in Egypt, you know what I mean? The Sphinx, yeah. And then the mummy comes across the screen.
The dog, it's a cat. It's the exact opposite of that.
It looked like a dog. It looked like a motherfucking dog. It looks like a dog.
I like
not the cat one.
Oh, not the cat one?
Nigga, I'm talking about the ones that are standing up tall and they look like dogs.
Oh, and they're like standing.
Yeah.
They're not on all fours.
Not on all fours. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Anubis thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called. Anubis.
Yeah. This is great. First off, I was saying this is great, but I think it's interesting because like the fun about like Egypt is that you think their politics and shit are like that. It's like these priests and like that's the fun part. But it was probably like in real life just like as shitty as ours.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? It was probably all like reality TV show like and be like, oh my god, did you hear what Imhotep said? I can't believe he said that. It's
a lot of Imhotep said wild shit. I'm not gonna move that cheating bitch. She's cheating whore.
You see what you wrote on her scroll? Yeah, dude, it would be it would, oh god.
I'm sure it was.
You know what I mean? Anyways, back to the magic.
So, the dog, it's still on the dog, and it shows the dog just immediately, like, just age like crazy. Go from, like, the shiny brand new statue to, like just rusting and falling apart, you know what I'm saying? And then, so I guess it's, like, present day. And then Hamunaptra, 1923. But this is the present day of that we're living in.
Oh, this movie took place in 1923?
Yes.
Oh, so, I didn't know this was a period piece as well.
You still don't know if this is Tom Cruise or fucking Brendan Fraser.
This is Brendan Fraser. There's no way. Just by knowing how big the original Mummy was and knowing how much this new Mummy flopped, there's no way
this is the storyline of the movie.
There's no way.
It is.
There's no way I'm that into it. I'm willing to bet $2. I never bet. I'm willing to bet $2.
You're an idiot. Hamunaptra, 1923. Okay. All right. That's why I didn't realize. Like, oh yeah, that is the present day of this movie. Yeah, you're right. This
is like a period piece.
So for 3,000 years, humans have fought over this land. It's the narrator over this land, not knowing what lie beneath it. And then right then they show a war going on, right? In Hamunaptra, right? And so you see all these niggas on horses riding up on the city. Like thousands of niggas on horses riding up on the city. And then you see people with guns running up all of the wall of Hamunaptra, right? And then it goes, and then for 300 years, and he goes, and for 3,000 years, we, the Magi, descendants of the Pharaoh's secret army. have kept the bodyguard, like kept the body on our watch, you know. And then
so they know.
They know.
Oh.
All right, so this is the guy. Yeah, so you see the narrator now, and he's a part of like.
What a crazy secret to keep for that in a long time that nobody knows. What a crazy secret to keep.
And then they're all dressed the same in like black, and they're all like covered and shit. This is clearly supposed to be the narrator.
If they can keep that secret, maybe the Earth is flat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if they can keep that secret for that long, yeah, you know, people talk.
People do talk, at least to their wives.
Yeah, right. And wives talk to each other.
Of course, that's their whole job. So. We see our lead, Brendan Fraser.
Yay! Hey, this is the Tom Cruise movie. Still, that'd be funny.
Yo, how great would that be? So he is a captain, right?
Dance.
And you see the leader. You see like he's a captain, right? And then he turns and you see like whoever his leader is supposed to be running away, just like cowering.
Oh, he's guarding the thing.
Yeah, he's guarding him and after.
So he's part of the crew.
No, he's not part of the Magi. The Magi are their own secret. They're all in black. He's remember how they said people that fought. There's a war on him and after. They don't know what's going on.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So a dude next to him says, I guess you're in charge now, like to him. And then he's like he doesn't care. He goes, all right, ready. And then they start approaching, and then he looks at the guy on his right, and he goes, you're with me on this, all right, Benny? And then the guy goes, oh, your strength gives me strength, right? And then he goes, all right, steady! And then right then the guy also takes off running. Yeah. And then he looks, he's like, fucking Benny, right? And then he gives, steady! And he doesn't break, and the horses get closer and closer, steady! Fire! And they kill like the first wave of horses. You know, reload, fire! They kill like the second wave. And then they're doing good for a while. And then, of course, it's just...
They get overrun.
They get overrun. Just too many. Yeah. They get overrun. So Brendan's like backing up, but he's like pulls out pistols, fucking tearing everybody. He's like, they're showing that, oh, this guy's a badass. Okay? So he's shooting everybody, pulls out 2 more pistols, kills a bunch of more people, right? And then finally these guys... like get up on him, so he retreats and he starts running. And then the Benny guy, he sees the Benny guy, and the Benny guy turns and he looks at him and he goes, run, Benny, run! Get inside! Get inside! And so the Benny guy gets inside one of the tombs, and then like he's like, hold the door! Hold it! And then the Benny guy starts closing on him. He's like, Benny, you son of a bitch! And then he fucking closes the door on Brendan Fraser, right?
Wow,
so Brendan's like,
dick.
Oh yeah, so Benny's fucking beaten, and then he takes off running, right? He turns, and now they're all on his ass, and then he fucking runs, and then he trips and falls, right? And then no, he jumps over this thing, right. But then they just come up and they all surround him. Right. And then they all pull their guns. Like 10 guys on horses pull their guns on him. And then he closes his eyes and he's like... And then all of a sudden you hear the horses go... And they all start going crazy, right? And they all start fucking running around. And his eyes are still closed. And the horses... And then you hear them all scream. And then they all panic and they all take off. And then he opens his eyes. And he's like, what the fuck? And then you hear... He's like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, all the sand starts moving around him. And then he starts like, what the fuck? And all the sand's moving. And then up out the sand rises the Emotep dude's face. And he's just like, ah, like yelling, like, ah. And then Brendan Fraser's like, what the fuck? And then he takes off.
Yeah. Oh, so he's working his way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they didn't really plan ahead. It only took him 5,000 years to get out?
Well, he didn't get out.
Huh?
He didn't get out.
Oh, he didn't get out.
It was just like a...
He's still trapped.
This is like a scary kind of like...
Right.
Curse thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, like the land is cursed kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he takes off running, right?
Right. So... Now he has to yell at Benny. I don't know, you kill Benny, right?
Yeah.
At this point, you shoot him. You're like, fuck you.
No, he doesn't see Benny. Benny locked himself in the room, remember?
I know, but I'm saying you find Benny.
Yeah, no, you find just enough.
That's what you do next.
So, right there, he looks back and he sees the pyramid from the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. And then, so he starts and he leaves. And then you hear the narrator go, the creature remains unfound. And then one of his guys next to him goes, what about him? And then they see Brendan like running just into the middle of the desert, just like to nowhere. Right. You know? And then Brendan stops and he turns and he notices and he looks up and he sees the Magi up on horses like looking at him, and he just kind of stares at him. And then the narrator guy goes, no. Let the desert kill him. And then it fades to black. Right? Cairo, Egypt, 3 years later. Okay? Now we're in this museum of antiques. Alright? Like in the city of Cairo. So now we're in like a city. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like people and regular cars and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You hear a British woman going through books in a library. She's on a ladder stacking books. And then she notices one of them misplaced. And she tries to like put it on an aisle. Like she's on the ladder, right? And she's like noticing that one of the books needs to go behind her.
Right.
And so she tries to reach, and then of course like the ladder's down the middle, and she's like, oh, and she's like walking on it, and then of course she like falls, and then like hits one, and then it just goes, knocks over like a circle, because they're all built in a circle like that. Yeah. So they all fall, right? Yeah. And then she's standing in the middle of it, and she's like, oops.
All libraries are built for comical effect.
What?
Yeah. Every single library is built
it's like they saw a movie and they're like, we should all do this.
Yeah, we should make sure comedy can happen at any second.
Just one mistake. Yeah. Full room of comedy.
Yeah.
So she's like, oops, and she's all cute as shit, and it's a British bitch. You'd recognize her, bro. She's not the girl from my Titanic. That's how I would describe her. You know the main bitch from Titanic? Yeah. She ain't her, but she looks just like her. But it's clearly not. You gonna see her and be like, oh, but you ain't her. She's like a less.
Do you like for anything else?
She's like a Sprite Zero version of her. Huh?
You like for anything else?
Yeah, I can't think of anything, but right when you see her, you're like, oh, that British chick.
Okay.
She's in but millions, but mainly I recognize her from the Mummies. Like, ask her what she's in, I'm like, oh, she's in all the Mummies.
What a ridiculous way to describe a person in a movie. So you know Zoe Saldana? It's not her.
Yeah. Imagine Zoe Saldana, but like
a completely different person, and like white with different hair.
With different hair, and you're just like, oh, that's not her for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure not Zoe Saldana. That's how you feel about this bitch. So right then a guy comes in and he's yelling at her and he's like, sons of the pharaohs, send me anything, flies, locusts, anything but you. And then she's like,
who talks like that?
Right?
No way any 1920s Egyptians talk like that. Zero way that happens.
Oh, he's like British too, kind of.
Okay, so he's trying hard.
Yeah.
He's trying to be like, I'm Egyptian, and then says overly Egyptian stuff.
Overly Egyptian stuff. And he talks about how bad she is at her job, and why do I put up with you? And she's like, oh, you put up with me because I can read hieroglyphics, and I know this, and I know that. And she's like clearly a genius.
Yeah.
And then he goes, no, I put up with you because of your parents, God rest their souls. And then they get sad for a second. And he looks at her, and he's like, straighten up this mischief. Right?
This mischief? She fucked up. She's not like actively destroying the library.
Yeah, or she does. She does it all the time, apparently.
Well, she's classy. Don't give her the jobs that'll make her tip over everything.
That's true. Or don't set everything up that way. Set everything up so it just falls.
Yeah. There's a major in college called library sciences, and they haven't figured that shit out yet.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So she hears noises, and she's like, hello? Hello? And then she goes off in like the tomb area, right? And it's quiet. And then she looks around and she's all nervous. And then a skeleton pops up. She's like, ah! And it's her brother, right? And it's another British white dude you would recognize, but only from the Mummy movies.
So no, I wouldn't recognize these people. What are you talking about?
No, when you see him, you'll be like, oh, this guy from other things as well.
Okay.
But I would
how
describe
old is
him.
he?
Same age.
Same age? Okay. How
maybe a little older.
Okay.
Probably like late 20s, early 30s.
Late 20s, early 30s.
Okay. So, like, she scares him, right? And then they're talking to each other, and she's like, don't you ruin your career ruin my career like you ruined yours. And he's like, I'll have you know, I ended my career on a high note. And he's like drunk as shit and like clearly fucked up. Right. And then he says how he shows her how he found something cool. This cool key, blah blah blah, and he hopes it's something cool because he could really use like a good find right now because he's like I guess like her. And then she opens it. He goes, oh shit, I think you did find something cool. And then there's a piece of paper inside. Like she finds a way to open it, and there's this little piece of paper inside. So she opens up the paper, and then now she's showing her boss from earlier and telling him how this is what the key is, and it's a map. And then the brother asks, well, like, is it from a rich person? Like and then they both, and her and the librarian go, oh, this person's very rich because this is the map to Hamunaptra. And then they go, oh, because it's like, and then she go, and then right then the guy goes, we are scholars, not treasure hunters. This is a make believe city, blah blah blah. It's not real. This is what hocus pocus bullshit, right? And then she goes, no, my research said to believe that it's true. And then the brother's getting all excited, and he's thinking about all the gold that it possibly could be. And then how he heard that the city is buried in like sand dunes, and you can't even see it. And then the main guy's like, it's all hocus pocus, don't believe any of this bullshit. And then as he's talking to them, he accidentally or purposefully burns the map. He goes, oh no, I set it on fire. And he throws it, and they're like, ah! And then they put it out, and they're like, you burned the part of the city. This is the part where the city was. And he's like, oh, it's probably for the best. You don't need to find that kind of information anyway. And then he leaves.
Ooh,
right?
He knows shit. Ooh, spooky.
So, and then he tells them how most have never returned looking for that city. And then that's when he leaves, right? So her brother, it's the next day, he's taking his sister to a prison, right? And he tells her the truth of how he actually came upon that map and the key. And he stole it from somebody. Okay, and she's like, going off, why would you tell me that you found it, blah, blah, blah. He's like, look, I just wanted to know, I thought it was a good idea, I didn't want to tell you the truth and all that shit, right? And then, so they come to the guy who's running the prison, and then they go, we're looking for this man, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, oh, I know where that man is, we have him here. And then she goes, oh, well, what was he in for? And then the guy goes, apparently, he said, apparently, he was just looking for a good time. And then right then they bust out Brendan Fraser, right? And he's like getting beat by all these people, and his hair's all crazy, and he looks all crazy. He's all like tight, like he looks like a crazy person now, right? And they bring him up to the cage, and then he goes, who are? He looks at them, he goes, who are you? And who's the broad, right? And then the guy goes, the brother goes, oh, this is my sister Edie. And then he goes, oh, well, I guess she's not a total loss. And then she's like, well, excuse me, but we both found your puzzle box. And then he goes, no. And she goes, but he goes, you came to ask me about the city of Hamanaptra. And then she goes, how did you know? How did you know? And how do you know where that this map leads to it? And he goes, because that's where I found that map in Hamanaptra. And then she goes, And then he asks the brother, he looks at the brother, he goes, do I know you from somewhere? And he's like, oh, no, I just have a familiar face. You might know me from this. And then he recognizes him, and he punches the shit out of him. And then they beat him up a little bit more. And then she looks at her knocked out brother who's like bleeding on the ground. Oh, my God. And then she just steps over him. And she goes, so what else do you know about Hamanaptra, right?
That's pretty good. I like that. Ooh, I like that.
And then he lets her get really close.
Choice.
Yeah, he lets her get really close. And then she's like, well, can you give me the exact location? And he goes, well, do you want to know? And she goes, yes. He goes, do you really want to know? And she goes, yes. And he grabs her, kisses her, and he goes, well, get me the hell out of here, lady. And then they all start beating the shit out of him. And he's like, do it, lady. And then they take him away. And she's like, where are they taking him? And then he goes, to be hanged. And she goes, oh. He goes, well, apparently he had a very good time. And so now they're all in a circle, right? Mm-hmm. And they're putting him up on the news to be hanged, and all the prison people are watching. They're all cheering. And then she goes, I will give you 100 pounds to save this man's life. And he laughs. He goes, I would pay 200 pounds just to see him die. And then she goes, 200. He goes, 300 pounds. She goes, proceed. And she goes, 500 pounds. And then she goes, huh? And she looks at him. He looks at her, and he grabs her leg, and he goes, I'm also a very lonely man. And then she takes her purse, and she slaps him. He goes, Aquaman! And then they hang him, and then she goes, no! And he drops, and then everybody looks, and then he goes, ha! His neck did not break! And then you see Brendan Fraser, and he's fucking just like kicking and choking, like that. Right. And then he goes, well, now you have to watch him strangled to death. And then she goes, this man knows where the city of Hamanaptra is. And then he goes, you lie. And he goes, no, he knows. And she goes, you telling me this son of a pig knows where the city of the dead is? She's like, yes. And if you let him go and if you let us go, we will give you 10% of what we find. And then he goes, 50%. And she's like, 20%. And then he's like, 45%. And then she's like, 40%. And then he's like, 25%. And she's like, deal. And he's like, fuck!
Yeah.
She like funny them.
That's what happened. Yeah.
And then she goes,
she rabbit season, duck season.
She's rabbit him, bro. Got him.
Yeah, got him.
He goes, cut him down. And then they cut him down, and everybody's cheering. And then he looks up at her, he's like, trying to breathe, and then she's like smiling down, like all sexy. Yeah. See.
I like that.
I can tell you're digging the mummy.
I'm digging the mummy.
I can see this.
Digging the mummy.
You're digging the mummy. I didn't see this coming like this.
Oh, okay. And I was having a good time. This movie seems like a good time.
And you know what else? It makes sense because you love National Treasure.
Yes.
And this is that vibe 100%.
Okay. Yeah, National Treasure was great.
Great movie. Yeah. This is a good movie.
They stole the Constitution.
You don't know what's about to happen yet.
Yeah, they stole the Constitution. I'm all in.
The Constitution of Hamanaptra?
Yeah.
So, next scene.
Valley Forge. Let's have that scene.
That was a good scene. The brother is complaining to the sister about this guy. I don't know if he'll let him. He's a crazy person, blah, blah, blah. And then she's agreeing, like, I don't know if we can trust him either. And then right then he walks up and he goes, you guys talking about anybody I know? And then they look at him and he's completely clean shaven. Like, he looks like handsome as fuck Brendan Fraser.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, whoa. And then she goes, can you guarantee, Mr. O'Connell, that this isn't a flim-flam? And then he cuts her off and he tells her the realness of the situation they're going into. And then she gets quiet as shit. And then right then the prison guy shows up, the big prison guy, and he's like, and they're all looking at him like, why are you here? He's like, I am here to protect my investment. Thank you very much. And then he barges his way onto the boat, right? So, it shows them floating down the river.
Mm-hmm.
Then it shows these black guys in black, the Magi.
Yeah.
And they're sharpening knives and they're rolling up secretly on canoes. Like, they look like Navy SEALs, literally. Like, literally Navy SEAls.
Oh, they would have to kill them.
So, men are playing poker and gambling, right, on the boat. They're all cowboys. And then they go, one of them goes, what if I bet you, O'Connell, $500 that we get to Hamanatra before you? And then O'Connell goes, I don't bet, right? And he's walking by. And then the brother is playing cards with all the cowboys, right? Yeah. And he goes, oh, but O'Connell, and then one of the cowboys goes, oh, but O'Connell seems real confident he's going to get there. And then they act cocky, all looking at him. He goes, well, why are you guys so confident? And then they go, well, they have, the brother goes, well, one of the guys goes, well, we have somebody that's been there before. And O'Connell kind of looks at him. And then the brother goes, oh, well, that's a coincidence because O'Connell, and then O'Connell like elbows him in the back of the head. And he goes, oh, and he goes, O'Connell would love to have the bet. And then he like just agrees to the bet so the brother will shut up and not mention that he's been there before. Yeah. Like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You gotta keep your cards close to your chest.
Clearly.
In a situation where there's like people you don't know who could easily kill you.
Yeah. You don't know these people. You don't know what's going on. So he agrees with the bet and then he leaves, right? And so, right then, he sneaks up on the girl, and he goes, still angry about that kiss. And then she goes, oh, if you can call it a kiss. And then he unloads all of his guns, like, on top of her books that she was trying to read. And then she goes, are we going into battle? And then he, like, ignores her and, like, just keeps preparing and, like, getting everything loaded and shit. And then she goes, what do you think is out there? He looks at her, and he goes, evil. And then she's like... And then she says, well, I'm here to find the book of Amun-Ra. And then she tells him how she came here for that, and it's been her life pursuit her whole life and all this shit. And then he brings up, are you sure it's not just because it's made of pure gold? And she goes, so you know your history, Mr. O'Connell. And then he goes, yeah, I know. And then she looks at him and she goes, why did you kiss me, by the way? And he goes, I was about to be hanged. Seemed like a good idea at the time. And she goes, you mother... And then she storms off, right? And he goes, what? What did I say?
That's a good point. I appreciate the honesty, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure she does too.
Deep down.
Yeah, definitely deep down.
So he sees a shadow, like, in the corner, like, clearly listening to his conversation. And then he sneaks up on it, and he grabs him, and he goes, ah, wouldn't you know, my friend Benny. And it's Benny from the beginning of it. Right? And he snatches him up, and he goes, oh, I didn't know you were here, O'Connell. And he goes, I knew. He said, when they said that somebody was leading the Americans, I could have figured it was you. He goes, so what was your plan? Lead him out there and then lead him out there to die? And, like, lead him out there to Hamanatra and then let him die when you didn't show him where it is? And he goes, no, the Americans were... He goes, that was my plan, but they were smart. They gave me half money now, half when we're done. And he goes, ah. And then they keep talking for a second, and then Brendan just throws him overboard.
That's great.
Just throws the... O'Connell! Right, you hear him yell?
That's great.
And he goes, bye, Benny. And then he like starts walking back towards his guns, and then he looks on the ground and he sees wet footprints. And then he looks back overboard and he sees them. And he's like, somebody's on, you know what I mean? Somebody's on the boat.
Yeah.
And so right then, the girl is in the room and she is studying, the main girl, she's studying, and she can't focus. And she goes, oh, you know, it wasn't even that good of a kiss anyway, like to herself, you know what I mean? And then she drops something.
In there.
She's looking at that classic scene where she's looking in the mirror, and then she drops something, raises back up.
There's someone behind her.
Like one of the members of the Magi. She screams, ah! You know? And then he puts a knife to her, and he goes, where is the key? And she goes, what key? And then right then, O'Connell busts in, and he goes, Emily! And then he fucking starts shooting, right? And then he kills one of the guys, and then it shows another guy busts in the room from the Magi, and he starts a fire, like he throws a fire, like flames down, and flames bust in, and then he starts shooting at the other guy, and then the guy that's holding Emily, she stabs him in the eye, and he's like, ah! And he lets go, and then she storms off, right? And then the room is burning, and her and O'Connell run out the room, and then she stops. She goes, the map! And she turns to run back in the fire to go get it, like in the fire, and he grabs her, and he's like reloading his gun calmly. It's a great shot. He's reloading his gun calmly, and he goes, don't worry about the map. I'm the map. It's all up here. And like as they walk past the camera, it's really good. I love that shot. Also because she's just like about to run back into fire.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I am in this.
So
the Magi are on the boat?
Yeah, the Magi are on the boat. And so the guy with the one eye now, he sees the map on the floor, like in the room on fire. He goes to grab it, and right as he goes to grab it, the brother walks in and like knocks him like back into the fire again. So now this guy's like burning more.
I like how this is a random comedy in it.
Yeah, a lot of comedy in this.
Yeah, a lot of random comedy.
And so he keeps
So the brother sees the thing. The boat is on fire now.
Yes, the guy comes out with an eye. So now the brother like gets the key, right? And Brendan is having a shootout outside with the motherfucking Majai. He's just killing a bunch of people. She saves him once while like in a blade situation where like bullets are like, you know, when somebody shoots like poof, poof, and the one's about to hit his head and like she pulls him. Yeah. And he looks at her like, you know, and then
what are the Americans doing?
So the Americans.
Okay, wow, look at that timing.
So she's still screaming, Connell, what are we gonna do? And then she's like, he goes, can you swim? And she goes, yeah, when the situation calls for it. And then he throws her overboard. And he goes, it calls for it. And then he starts throwing all the bags overboard and shit. Right. And then right then he has to fight off another guy and kills him. And then right then the prison guy runs up and he goes, O'Connell, what are we gonna do? He goes, don't worry, wait here, I'll get help. And then O'Connell jumps overboard and the guy's like, got it. And he looks around for a second and he's like, I go back, and then he jumps over himself. Yeah. Right? And then right then it cuts to the brother, and the brother is watching the Americans have a shootout with the Majai, and the Americans are like, woo, woo, and they're loving it, right? And then he's like, Americans. And then right then when the Majai is about to kill him, then the American like looks over and goes, and like kills him, and he's like, America! It's a good shot. Yeah. And then he jumps overboard, right? Yeah. And then of course the Majai, they burn the whole boat down because they're trying to stop this. And so now everybody's jumping overboard, right?
The Americans as well.
And so they all swim different ways. So Benny and all the Americans, they take all the horses and they go one way. Okay. Right? And they go one side of the lake.
There's a race with the Americans too. So man, this is I like every turn I'm like I'm down for this.
I get why they made more of it.
Yeah.
So they Brendan Fraser and his crew, they go to the other side of the lake, right? Yeah. So as they're coming out, the Benny guy goes, oh God, he's screaming across the lake, oh God, looks like we got all the horses. And he goes, hey Benny, looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. And then Benny goes, God damn it! And then they like all start like get the horses and like try because now they got to make up time.
They gotta go around, yeah. And there's a bet.
There's a bet going on.
Yeah, there's a bet going on.
So they are now walking through a town. Okay, they're walking through a town. The brother's going back and forth over camel prices, right? And then he says, finally they pay for it. He's like, I can't believe you're making me pay this much. And then Brendan says, oh, you probably should have just gave me your sister. They got the camels for free. And then right then he looks up and the sister's like sexy as fuck. She's got on like all this Egyptian garb. And she looks crazy hot, right? He's just like stunned by her. So then it's a shot of them like going through, the brother complains about how he hates camels and it's them just like riding through like the desert, right? And just like cool shots of them just going dazing through the desert, right? The Majai watch them travel, and then like the main narrator dude, he's like up top looking, and then Fraser looks up and he notices them. And they're watching from a mountain, and then the narrator guy goes, "This one is strong," because he remembers them from earlier, right? Right. And so the next morning, him and the Benny and the Americans and them are all like kind of meeting up at the same point, right? And then they go, good morning. Benny's like, good morning, my friend. You know, and one of the Americans goes, you know, the bet's still on the table, O'Connell. And O'Connell's like, I know. And then they all are stopping. Benny and the American like hold everybody, and they're all just sitting there waiting. And everybody's like, what are we waiting for? Why are we stopped? What are we waiting for? And then she looks at him and she whispers, like, O'Connell, why are we waiting? And he goes, because we're about to be shown the way. And he leans back, and then the sun comes up, and like all you see is desert, just empty desert. And then the sun comes up, and then you see things kind of like, and then you see a beautiful city appear. Like, you know, like you can't only see it when the angle of the sun is in a certain way. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, good and they only know, yeah, exactly, right? So they all go, and they all like freak out. And then you can see, and then right then O'Connell goes, here we go again. Yeah, yeah, and everybody, yeah, and they all start racing, right? They're all racing the city. So they're all on camels, they're all on horses, okay? But the Benny dude also has a camel, okay? And the camels all immediately leave the horses in the wind, like dust.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't know that.
I guess I think it's like terrain too.
I guess that too, or terrain, or maybe fatigue.
Yeah, or this movie's lying. It's a movie.
I was thinking because they've been walking on the horse, because they had to walk through with the horses the long way too. Right. Camels definitely can last longer.
That's true. That's true. Camels can last longer, but can they move like that?
I'm assuming if the horses are tired of shit.
But can camels move quickly? Can camels run? Do camels run?
Camels run.
Huh? I've never seen.
They're running this movie and they look like them. They were real camels.
All right. Well, you know
those are the greatest CGI camels of all time.
You know what? I'll trust the real camel. I'll trust them.
So,
you ain't fooling me.
So now they're going, they're running the camel. And so Brennan and the Benny dude are fighting on their camels.
Right.
They're just fighting back and forth, and he's whipping Brennan, he's whipping him, and then finally Brennan gets the whip and then grabs it, goes, bye, Benny, and throws him again off the camel. And Benny's like, ah! And he goes tumbling. And then you hear the Evelyn girl go, tee, 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 tak, 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 tee, 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 tak, 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 tak. And her camel just fucking flies by everybody. Tee, 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 tak, 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 tak. And then everybody's like, go, Evie, go! And then she beats everybody in the city.
Hey, they win the bet.
They win the bet.
Yay.
So the next cut is a rich old white man, right?
Right.
And it's the same dude from Titanic. The dude who's the old white man who gets on the boat. He's like the motherfucker who invested he's the reason they crashed in the first place. Because it was his boat. He put the money up for the Titanic. He was like, what if headlines say we got there a days before, time? Give him a royal bang. That guy.
That guy.
He's the same kind of character in this, okay?
So just disaster follows him.
Disaster, bro. And he's always the problem of it. Always, because of his rich ways. So,
What a dick.
he's like an Egyptianologist. He's like some high. That's what he's supposed to be.
An Egyptianologist.
He's supposed to be an Egyptianologist.
Okay.
And he's yelling at slaves to work faster. Okay.
Right.
And they
This is current day? He's got slaves?
1923.
Okay.
They would have slaves in 1923.
They have slaves at every juncture, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think that stops.
Yeah. Good point. That's a good point. Thanks, China, for our shirts.
And the phones. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
This is great. Gets a lot of work done on that thing.
Yeah. And I can watch porn on it.
A lot of work done. You hear what I said? So he's yelling at the slaves to work faster, right? And then he looks over and he sees them kind of like they're like meticulously doing stuff.
He's there in the city.
They're all in the city, and he's looking at the Brendan Fraser, and he goes, and then one of the guys in that camp looks to the old rich white guy. And he goes, "Do they know something we don't?" He goes, "They're being led by a woman. What could a woman know?" He says it like that in his rich white guy voice.
Nice.
And then right then they show her reading the book, and then she's like learning about all these ancient mirror tricks and all these cool things, right? Mm-hmm. And then Brendan gives her a tool belt, all shy like. He's like, "Hey, I got you this tool belt in the city. I thought you might be able to use it." And she's like, "Oh, thank you," right? And it's all cute. So they drop down into the tombs. Mm-hmm. And then Evie goes, and then there was light. And she grabs one of the mirrors and uses the trick, and then the room goes completely black to completely lit up like this room. It's really cool, And they tell Brennan this is where they made the mummies, and then they hear all the bugs around them, thousands of bugs, and then they all panic, and then they don't see them, and then the prison guy goes, "I hate bugs!" And then they start walking into the tombs, okay? So they're going through the tombs, and then they see the legs of Anubis, and they're like, "Oh, finally we found it, the legs of Anubis." And then they hear something, right? And then Brennan grabs his guns out, and they bend down, and then they bend the corner, and they pull out the guns, and it's just all the Americans with Benny. So same thing, they get to the same place where they're going again at the same time. So they all have their guns on each other, and they put them down for a second, and then they go back and forth.
I can't believe the guardians of the place let them get this far.
Yeah, they're really letting them play with fire here.
Yeah, because it's not like they killed all of them. They're watching them do this.
I don't know if they have enough people to stop them, though. They keep trying to do secret attacks, I think, because they don't have enough people to beat them.
Yeah, because there's not
front off.
There's only like 6. There's probably only 20 of them.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that many of them. Probably 15 to 20 of them tops.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then they're losing a lot of them.
Yeah.
People keep dying.
Yeah, get a rifle.
Get a fucking rifle.
Get a rifle.
Sword carrying idiots.
Yeah, right. Get a rifle. Stay a fair distance away. I mean, at some point they're gonna have to bottleneck.
They should be sniping them. They should be sniping them nonstop.
Yeah.
So that way they're terrified to even come out of their tents.
Yeah, and then when they get to the Anubis, it's only an entrance, right? That's a bottleneck. It's how you defend.
I guess you also don't want to have a war inside the tombs.
Maybe, but if this guy gets out, he'd bring 10 plagues onto humanity.
Yeah, but what about the tourism? That is what somebody would say.
Yeah, some corporate guy who's making money.
Yeah, we're like, what about the tourism? Hammer
Yeah, I can make money now. Sure, there'll be 10 plagues upon us later, but I can make so much money now.
Now!
Yeah, now! Yeah, sure, my children are gonna suffocate on locusts. But now... go fuck yourself, corporate.
So they're going back and forth, and they're like arguing over who gets the dig site. Guns are drawn, and then the Benny guy goes to O'Connell and goes, "Well, it's 4 of you, O'Connell, and 15 of us." And he goes, "Yeah, well, I've had worse odds," and puts a gun right in his face. And then they were like, and then the girl's like, wait, I have an idea. Everybody calm down. Let's just learn how to share, right, boys? And then she winks at him and like, you guys take this, we'll take another digging site. And then O'Connell's like, what? And so they leave, and then they cut to, and they're directly under it. Right. And she goes, if my calculations are right, we're directly under Anubis. We can just dig right here. It'll drop right down.
Right.
You know, we just got to beat it to it. You know what I mean? So, right when she's doing that, she goes, where is our smelly little friend? And then it cuts to the old prison dude, and he's like crawling around by himself, and he comes across a wall, and he goes, what have we here? And it looks like blue gold. And he's like, oh, blue gold. And it's like these little beetle-looking things, you know? And he starts picking them off the wall and putting them in his bag. Just picking them off the wall, right?
Okay. Those are going to turn into real beetles, huh?
So the Americans are about to dig, right? They're all about to, they show the American, they're about to dig, and then the rich guy goes, stop. He goes, let the diggers dig. Like, let the slaves dig. And then right when the slaves start to dig, he goes, Zeta. And then they start digging, and then, of course, acid sprays and just melts all their skin off. Like it was booby-trapped.
Oh.
Yeah. Cut back to Evie, and she's telling Brendan how they used to mummify people here. And then the brother is, like, hitting, like, golf balls. Like with the thing, you know what I mean?
You brought golf balls?
Where he's hitting like something, like rocks with like a stick, so it looks like he's playing golf, okay. You know? And then he hits one and it goes right up poof, as they're trying to dig down, and then it poof, knocks the whole sarcophagus down right under the feet. And then they're all like, whoa, what the fuck? You know? And then he goes,
man. A lot of confusing things happening in this movie for you.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's like so many moving parts.
Yeah. This is the most I've ever seen you tripped up.
So he goes, man, this person, so they're all looking at the sarcophagus and like, oh, and then they're like buried under the feet of Anubis. He must have been of great importance. And then Evelyn goes, or he was really naughty. I always liked that as a kid. That made me laugh even as a kid. Or he was really naughty.
Is this rated PG-13? You rated it off?
Definitely PG-13. PG-13. I mean, they don't say nigga as much as I have. I think. I gotta watch it again. Maybe I did hear it, and so I was writing it down.
Well, I asked because a lot of people die. I wonder how graphic that stuff.
Yeah, right? Not graphic at all, but just a fuck ton of people die.
Oh, okay. So PG, like the edge of PG-13. Probably.
Yeah. So they cut back to the dude taking the beetles throughout the wall, and then one falls, right? Like one falls on the ground, and then it busts out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then he's looking at it, and then he watches it crawl up to him, and then it crawls through his boot, up his foot, and he's like, ah! He starts crawling up his leg, he's hitting his leg, and he can't stop it, and then he rips open his shirt, and then you see it, like, crawl up his fucking chest, and then you see it, like, crawl up his neck, up his cheek, into his brain.
To who?
Into his brain. This scene fucked me up as a kid.
Wait, whose brain are they going to?
The prison guy.
The prison guy, oh, God.
The guy was picking the beetles off the wall.
Yeah.
So he's just screaming like a lunatic now, right?
Yeah.
They cut back to O'Connell and them, and they're, she's reading the tomb, and she goes, they're like, who is it, Evie? And she goes, it says he who shall not be named.
Voldemort.
Right? And then they find the tomb has a keyhole, and then they hold up the key thing that they had from earlier, and they're like, it's a perfect fit.
Right.
Right? And they're like, oh, right? And then right then they hear the prison guy screaming, and then they turn, and then Jonathan, the brother, grabs the key, and then they go run looking for the prison guy, and then they find him, and he runs right by him screaming like, and then he goes head first into a wall, poof, and kills himself. And they're just looking like, what the fuck?
Yeah, might be time to leave.
So cut to the next night, they're all back in their tents now, and they're like, what do you suppose killed him? And then she's like, I don't know. And then Brendan sits down next to him. He goes, apparently our American friends had some misfortune as well. Pressurized salt acid burned all their slave diggers. Like half of their slave diggers. Right. And they were like, God damn. And then they start talking about the curse and how it's all booby-trapped. And then they start going through the warden's bag as they're doing this. And then as they do, the music is really intense. And then it's the bag of all the Beatles. And then the brother has his hand in it, and he's just stirring it around. And then he goes, ah! And he screams. And then they all scream. And then he just pulls out a bottle of Jack Daniels. And he's like, this mother got good taste. You know what I'm saying?
God, the brother. The prankster brother. Oh, what trouble will you get us into in a bit? What mischief will you cause? I will set off a chain of events.
So right then, soldiers start riding up, and it's all the Magi guys.
Right.
And then there's a shootout with the Cowboys.
Right.
And then Brendan runs up, and he's like, I'm going to help him. And then Evie, she grabs a shotgun, and she kills one, and it shows the brother. He's killing a bunch of them. You know what I mean? And they're having a full-on battle with the Magi. And right as the brother's about to kill another one, it's the narrator guy. He, misses him, and the narrator guy's about to kill him, and then Brendan, tackles him. And then they go back and forth, and they're fighting, him and the narrator. And then Brendan pulls out a stick of dynamite and lights it. And then the narrator goes, hold! And then he stops everybody. He goes, no more bloodshed for today. He goes, but I must warn you guys. You must leave. You know? He's like, you must leave now. Yalla, Nimshi. And then all of his guys, they get on horses and they ride off, right?
Right.
And so Evelyn is now talking.
Should have tried that earlier.
Huh?
Should have tried that earlier.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, you see us like really scary, weird people? We're stopping you from doing something terrible.
On purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. There's no gold here. That's all they'd say. They'd be like, no, there's no gold here, man.
This is a bad place.
Yeah, this is, there's nothing here for you. And
They
then,
should have said that.
yeah, and then maybe tell them where some gold is. Be like, try it this other place.
Try Mexico.
Yeah.
They got pyramids there.
Yeah, El Dorado, I think, is there.
So Evelyn is on her back, right? And then he goes and from the shotgun blast, and he goes and he raises her up. And then the cowboys are all nervous, and they're like, hey, maybe we should just combine forces tonight. And so they are all like tented up together tonight now.
Right.
So Brendan is teaching her how to fight, and then she's all drunk as shit. And then she's shitting on her brother who's passed out drunk. And then she goes, she goes like, I bet you're wondering what a place like me is doing in a girl like this. And he goes, laughs. He's like, yeah, I guess so. And then she tells him her whole like biracial backstory about her dad and her mom from Egypt and all this shit.
Her biracial backstory.
So she does. And then
BRBS.
And then he asks why she's there, and then she goes, well, I may not be a fighter or an explorer. She goes, but I am proud of what I am. And then she goes, what? And he goes, and what's that? And she goes, I am a librarian. And then she falls down, passes out. And then he laughs, and then he's holding her, and she goes, I'm going to kiss you, O'Connell. And he goes, just call me Rick. And she goes, okay, Rick. And she's about to kiss him, and then just passes out.
Yeah.
Right? And so the next scene, it's the rich dude, and he has them bringing out, the slaves bringing out the case where all the acid was, like the treasure that they thought was in there. Mm-hmm. And they're bringing it out, right? And then the slaves are all nervous, and they back away from it. And then him and the Americans, they all get up to it, and they start reading what's on the chest. And he tells the American that it says, death will come swiftly to whoever opens this chest. You know? And then right then a wind blazes through the room. The slaves take off running.
Right.
The Benny guy goes, we shouldn't be here. And then right then the one cowboy goes, I don't know if this is good. And then they keep reading. The one who opens this chest, the one who, of the people who opens this chest, the one will find you and kill all of you and eat your organs. And then you regenerate and no longer be the undead, but the plague upon Egypt and the curse that will bring it to eternity or whatever. And then they keep reading this. And then right then the Benny guy goes, it's a curse, beware, it's a curse. And then he runs away.
Right. Which is Benny's forte.
And they open it anyway.
Right. Because corporate!
So Evie is talking about how bad.
Selling out a future,
Sure.
some money today. Corporate.
So Evie is opening up she's trying to open up the sarcophagus, right? Mm-hmm. And she's saying how bad this man must have been. And then right then he pops out, right?
Yeah.
Like that, right? He's all deformed and mummified and shit. Mm-hmm. And then they're looking at him and they're like, something's interesting about this guy. And they're like, yeah. They're like, he still looks, and they both say juicy at the same time. And you can see he looks all wet still. And then they read how about how he died and like how the flesh-eating bugs like ate him slowly for like and like they go through his tomb and there's like fingernail marks all through the tomb, and then he wrote something with his fingernails, and it said death is only the beginning, and that's what he wrote with his fingernails, right? And then so they're looking at him, this corpse crazy, and then it cuts back to them opening the chest, and then it's the rich guy, and he goes, oh my god, it does exist. The Book of the Dead. And he holds up this black book, and then the cowboys get all pissed. They're like, hey, where's the treasure? You said there was going to be treasure. This is the treasure. And then they open the side part of the case, and then the 5 organs of Anaxinamun come out, and they're in these gold vases. And then he's like, there's your treasure. And then they all look all happy, right? So, cut to, they're all outside again at night, and the rich dude's trying to open the black book. And then Evie, she's watching him, and she's staring at him, and he looks at her, and she goes, I think you need a key. And then she storms off, right? And then he's like mad at her.
Right.
And so the Americans are bragging.
Corporate, not listening to good advice.
Get them
corporate.
So they're bragging about all the treasure they found, right? All the Americans.
Yeah.
And to O'Connell, and then she says how she's telling him more about how the bugs ate him slowly and all this creepy, horrible shit that the ancient curse is going to bring, and how everyone was so feared of this guy if they revived him because he's the plague of Egypt.
Right.
And so everyone, he's going to bring the 10 plagues of Egypt, so everyone falls asleep. Mm-hmm. She steals the book from the guy while he's sleeping, right? And she steals the book. And then she opens it up. And then Brendan Fraser's like, that's stealing, And he has like one eye open. Mm-hmm. And she goes, according to you and my brother, it's called borrowing. You know what I mean? And then he goes, I thought the book was gold. And he goes, that's the book. She's like, that's the book of Amon Ra. This is the book of Amon something else, right? And she goes, and then he goes, well, I don't know if you should be reading it. She goes, oh, come on, no harm's ever come from reading a book. And then she starts reading.
So very untrue.
Right?
So very untrue.
As a librarian, you should definitely know that.
Yeah, you should definitely know that some books are banned places and you get caught with them. Also, you should have read Fahrenheit 401 or whatever the fuck.
Was it out in 1923?
Maybe.
Should have been. Anyway.
Probably not.
You see, she starts reading, and then the camera pans to the mummy downstairs, and then as she keeps reading, the mummy just goes, comes alive. And then, of course, everyone wakes up, and then the rich guy goes, no, you must not read from the book! And then everybody starts screaming, and then you just hear, and then they look up, and then you see just millions of locusts just coming upon them. Yeah, it just starts, bro. No, I love this about it. Here we go. Bam! You know what I mean? Millions of locusts just start overtaking them, right? And then they all start running in the tombs, and then the guy, now he's holding the book again, and he goes, oh no, what have we done? And so now everybody's running in the tombs, and you still hear the locusts, and then as they're all running, you hear a guy fall, one of the Americans, and he goes, oh no, my glasses! Jinkies! And he fucking falls, glasses everywhere, and then he goes, I can't see without my glasses, and everybody just keeps running by him.
Yeah, well, that's what natural selection is, bitch, you're done.
Yep, and then he goes, Benny, because the Benny guy's running by, and he goes, help me! And then the Benny guy steps on his glasses. Right. And he's like, I'm sorry! And then he just keeps running, right? And so he holds his glasses up, and he can't see at all. This is like blind as a bat, this guy. Right. And so he starts going down the hallway trying to see, and then he hears, and he keeps turning around, and he pulls out his gun, and he's like, who's there? Who's there? And he keeps turning back and forth, and he turn, and finally he turns, and it's the fucking mummy right on him. And you can't see him, though. You don't see the mummy. You see his eyes get big, and he goes, ah! And then he stops screaming. You don't see the mummy at all.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a really good shot. So, Brendan and the brother, Brendan and the brother, Evie, they're all running, right? And this tomb thing stops them and comes up out of the ground, and they're like, what the fuck? And then right then, millions of those flesh-eating bugs come out. And they start taking off running the other way now. And they have to jump off the path, because the bugs get right up on them, and they have to jump off the path onto some rocks. Right? And so now they're all holding on to separate rocks. And the one Evie's holding on to, she gets herself up, it's a trap door. No, it's a trap door, and then she falls through. And they're like, Evie! And then she falls, and then now she's back down at the front of the building again. Right. And then she looks up, and then she sees the guy who dropped his glasses. She's like, oh, Mr. Burns, I'm so glad it's you. I didn't, I thought I'd be, someone terrible. And then he turns around, and he's like, oh, my eyes. And he's just eye sockets. He took my eyes. And she's screaming, ah! Right, and then she looks back, and then she looks over, and she sees the monster, and now he has eyes. But he's still a mummy monster, right? And he walks up on her, and she's like, oh my God. And he goes, my tongue. He took my tongue, right?
This is intense.
Dude.
This just jumped right into it.
Yeah, I just, right, yeah, we're not making
I was just thinking about corporate, and now this is way past that.
And then he looks at her, and he goes, Anatsanamu, to her. And then she's like, and then right then it cuts back to Brendan Fraser and the brother, and they're trying to open the trap door. And they're like, it must be a trap door. And then right then you hear the Americans coming. They're like, run, run! And the bugs are coming back from another way now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then they take off running, and then one of the slaves that is running falls, and then they all turn around, and then all the bugs are just on him for a second, and then back chasing him, and he's just skeleton. Yeah, in a second. They're like, oh, and they're like, ah! They're just screaming, right? So,
this is dope.
The guy goes, come with me, Anatsanamu, the mummy to her. And then right then Brendan rose up. He goes, hey, Evie, we've been looking all over for you. Whoa! And he's like, ah! And then the mummy goes, rah! Right in Brendan's face. And Brendan's like, rah! And then he shoots him in the head, right? And then he falls, and then they all take off running. And then right then the mummy raises back up, like that. You know what I mean?
I have a feeling that your mummy voice is spot on.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. So right then the Magi, they stop everybody, and they go, look what you've done. You've raised him, And then they look at him,
and they're like, why did you fucking tell us?
Yeah, he goes, I said
in riddles, you goddamn idiot.
I said leave or die. And he goes, now you've awakened the creature that we tried to keep quiet for 1,000 years. And then Brendan Fraser goes, don't worry about it, I got him. He goes, no mortal weapons can kill this being. He is not of this world. And then they bring up the friend who has no eyes and tongue. He goes, oh. And they're like, the American's like, hey, what did you do to our friend? He's like, we did nothing but save him before the creature could finish him off. And he goes, don't worry about the creature, I got him. And he goes, you don't understand. You know, he goes, you don't understand. He will hunt. He will never stop hunting. He will never sleep. He will never eat or stop. He is the bringer of death. And then right then, it's Benny, and he's downstairs, and then he comes face to face with the mummy, right? And he starts praying in Christian, like he pulls out a Christian necklace and starts praying like in English. And then the mummy like looks like it like reaches his hands out about to kill him, and then he pulls out like a million different like legit necklaces with religions on them. And he starts praying in all these different religions, like Arabic and Chinese, and then finally he does the Hebrew one, the Hebrew star, and then he's about to kill him. He goes, oh, language of the slaves, I can use you. And then he goes, yes, my prince. And then he goes, well, you work for gold. And he opens up his hand and there's a shit ton of gold. And Benny's like, oh, my prince.
I love it. Benny's the same guy.
Always, baby.
Benny, hey, you a bitch, but at least you consistent with it.
So right then he goes, where are the sacred jars? And then Benny's like, oh, he cowers down. Mm-hmm. So everyone is leaving, right? And they all go to Cairo.
Right.
Because of Cairo. And then you see a storm is brewing in Cairo. So Brendan Fraser's packing up his luggage, just saying how they got to get out of here. She's unpacking while he's packing and arguing, saying how they have to stay. And she's saying, you know, we woke him, we must stop him. And he goes, were you listening? No mortal weapons are going to kill this guy. And then she goes, well, we need immortal ones. And they go back and forth. And finally he goes, well, tag along with me, or you can stay here and try to save the world. And she goes, I'm staying. And he goes, well, fine. She's like, fine. He's like, fine. And he closes the door and leaves. Right? And she's like, oh. And so some old drunk guy is downstairs and he's walking around like talking about old war stories, right? And then he sees O'Connell and they recognize each other. And then he says how he wishes he could have died in battle and all this shit. And then he goes, but I must leave to go back to work. And then he leaves and goes back to his airfield, right?
Right.
So him and the brother are downstairs drinking and they're talking. And the Americans are also talking nervously and everybody's worried about their friend who lost their tongue, and they're all nervous. The cut to the American who is fucked up, he's upstairs. And he's talking to Benny, but he doesn't realize it. And Benny's like, we're glad you came to see the priest today. And he's like, thank you for saving me. I don't know what to do. And he's like, yes, the priest would like to thank you for coming. He'd also like to thank you for your eyes. And your tongue. No. And now the priest must finish the job. Thank you for coming. And then Imhotep takes his mask off and, like, and licks his lips. And he's like, nah! And the guy screams, right?
I like how this priest who controls 1 million locusts needs to travel by stealth.
Yeah, right?
The priest in charge of the tent.
He does look like a mummy, though.
I can still though.
I can bet.
You know what I mean? You can control, like, the weather and shit.
You control everything.
Yeah.
All power. You got it, dude. So everyone is spitting out their drinks, right? Now downstairs.
Like, had sunglasses on. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he had like a mask on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
He's also, you took his eyes, bro. You can't see. You don't have to be covered up.
Yeah. I like the idea of he's just the regular priest but in glasses, you know, like Clark Kent.
With the mustache on.
Yeah.
So downstairs, everyone is spitting out their drinks, and it's blood. Like, they're like, oh, it tastes like blood. And they look around everywhere, and they're like, oh. And then the brother goes, and the city's ran red with blood. And you just see blood. Oh, and everyone's drinking all the water and everything. It's all blood now. Mm-hmm. And then,
it's pretty dope.
Yeah. And so Brendan, right then, meteor fire start like flying out the sky and shit. And then Benny runs out the room, and you see like Benny running out the room with the priest, like where they were. And then Brendan hears the monster roaring, and then they all run upstairs and they see Dr. Burns, and he's completely skeleton, the guy. And then Imhotep looks a little more. Formed now.
Yeah. Oh, the more full he gets, the more powerful. Mm-hmm. He's like Cell.
Exactly. He's exactly like Cell.
Yeah.
Literally exactly.
Yeah.
And so they see him. Brendan Fraser sees him. He's like, we are in serious trouble. And he starts shooting him. And then right then the guy throws him across the room. And then he sees Evie, and he goes, thank you for waking me. And then he sees he looks over, he sees a cat on the piano. And then he goes, and he turns into sand, and he leaves.
Huh.
Like he's scared of the cat. Okay?
Okay, so that's his thing that he's afraid of?
It's his thing.
Cats? It's like venom and sound?
Yes. Yes, you're right on with the analogies today.
Yeah, you know, I've done a couple episodes of this.
So, she goes and sees her librarian boss from earlier. Mm-hmm. And the narrator of the Magi is there. And they're like, hey, what are you doing here? And then he says how he's a part of the society, and he's been also trying to keep them safe for years. And Brendan asks, well, what about the cats? Why is he scared of cats? And they go, cats are guardians of the underworld. So the cats have been ruling his life for the last 3,000 years. So he's probably terrified of them.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That this guy who can control everything. Like if you just had like a Garfield strip.
Fucked him up.
Yeah, it would fuck him up.
So Evie tells him that he called. She's like, he also called me a Nox on the Moon. And then they go, a Nox on the Moon. He still is in love with her. You know, and then he goes, and he has chosen another human sacrifice. And Evie gets all scared, and then she goes, and they go, but this is good. This may give us enough time to kill the creature, because he's definitely going to need you alive. And then right then he eclipses the moon, the sun with the moon.
Okay.
All right, like as they're talking.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then they go over to.
I get it.
So now they're
clips. You're pretty stunned yourself.
Yeah, a little stunned.
Yeah.
And so they arguing about what to do, right? And then he tells Edie that she's going to stay in the room. And then she's arguing, no, I'm not going to stay here in this room, blah, blah. And then he locks her in the room. Right. And he tells the Americans to watch the door. No one goes in or out. And they're like, deal. Right? They're like, we're not going anywhere. And they're like, all right, we're going off to save the rich dude. We got to go get him before the Emotep guy kills all the guys who open the thing and gets full power. Right. You know what I mean? Cut to the rich guy. He's running around the city with the black book. And then they show Emotep hot on his ass. Right. Okay? So Benny is upstairs going through an office, right? And then Brendan Fraser walks in. He goes, whoa, what are we doing? Spring cleaning? And he knocks Benny out. And then he throws him, like he's asking him questions, and Benny's like not trying to answer. And then he goes, it's better to be the right hand of the devil than no one at all. And then he goes, what is he looking for? And he holds his head up to a ceiling fan, and he tells him he's looking for the Book of the Dead. He wants to bring back his dead girlfriend. That's all I know. And then right then you hear a scream, and he drops Benny, and then Benny jumps out a window, right? And
yeah,
like goes joins Emotep.
Survivor.
Dude, Survivor.
Yeah, I kind of like Benny.
Yo, and so right there he looks out the window, Brendan Fraser, and then he sees the rich guy's bones, and Emotep is all on top of him, and now he's even more formed. Like now you can really start to see what he looks like and who he is. You know what I mean?
Would I recognize the actor that plays him?
Nah, you might. Brendan Fraser's the only real famous nigga in this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone else you might recognize. Okay. Or will, but not that famous.
So everyone is not the girl from Titanic?
Yes.
Okay. I was confused for a second. I'm on the right track now, though.
So right then, they're looking at his more formed body, and then he blows locusts out his mouth right at Brendan Fraser. They close the window just in time, and then all the locusts hit the window and then bounce back onto the whole city and start attacking the whole city. Right. And then he walks through with his hands up like this, all dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll cool
scary and shit, yeah. So the guy watching the door gets bored, right? One of the guys watching the door, and he's like, I'm going to go down and get a drink. And the other one's like, oh, get me a bourbon too. And then right then he hears a breeze through the window. The guy who's in the room by himself now, the American. And he gets nervous and he pulls his gun and he goes to the window. And then right then a sandstorm just comes into the window and lifts him in the air. And it's like spinning him around. And then the sand just sucks his body dry like a skeleton. And then the sand forms back into Emotep. And now he's all the way damn near formed. Except like places in his face and there's like a couple places in his body that are still like mummy. And then you see one of those flesh-eating bugs crawl out of his cheek hole. And then like crawl up around his face and then into his mouth and he eats it. Like it's gangster as fuck.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
That's really gangster.
Yeah, it was gangster as fuck. And so this nigga is now like he goes to like the door where Edie's locked in, and then he turns himself into sand and like goes through the keyhole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's unfair power.
Mm-hmm. So he sits next to her and he goes, I knocks on the moon, and then he starts kissing her. And as he's kissing her, his face is like eroding back, you know? And then she's like, and then she wakes up, she's like, ah! She starts screaming, right? And then right then Brendan Fraser busts in. And, you know, and then he goes, look what I got. And he holds up a cat, and then he freaks out, and then he turns into sand and disappears. Okay?
It's great.
Yeah.
Great. I love it. Usually I would hate something like that, but I love it. Absolutely love it.
Interesting guy.
Yeah. Don't make any sense.
So they drive to the library again, right? Now they all get in the car and they pack and they drive to the library. They hear people chanting, Emotep, Emotep, outside. Everyone is plagued by them. They're all bitten and fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. So the one guy, the Magi guy goes, they have become his slaves. It's the beginning of the end. And then as he walks, they hear him chant Imhotep. So they try to find where the gold book is, right? So they're going through the library trying to find it. And then they're trying, as they hear people downstairs trying to bury Ken, and they go, oh, well, if the black book is in Anubis, then the gold book must be. And everybody's like, hurry, Edie, hurry. And she's looking, and she goes, oh, the gold book must be in the statue of Horus. And then right then everybody busts in. And then so Jonathan goes, I'll go get the car. And he busts around. He like starts running. And then everybody, all the slaves see him. And they go, Imhotep. And he goes, Imhotep. Imhotep. And then all the slaves stop chasing him and like start walking. Yeah. And he just does that all the way to the car.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Hey, way to think on your feet, buddy. So
Imhotep, Benny screams, Imhotep! And they're like, because they all get out to the car, and then he's like, they're chasing, he points, and they're all chasing after him, right? So they're getting away, and they're driving for a second, and then they stop, and they hit just a wall of people. Like, just like a wall, you know, just everyone. The Imhotep slaves, and they're like, Imhotep. Imhotep. And then Brendan Fraser goes, fuck it. And he slams on the gas, and then they just start hitting people, right? So now their car is completely covered in slaves. And they're all just fighting them off one by one. They're fighting and knocking people off. And Edie's even like poking niggas' eyes, like, you know what I mean? They're all falling off the car one by one. And then finally, though, two of the slaves get one of the American cowboys that they need, and then they pull him off the back of the car. So the cowboy falls, and he starts shooting immediately like an idiot. And now they're all running this way, like running by him, but he's like shooting to kill him. And so they all stop.
And they all run towards him.
Yeah, they all come up right up on him, Imhotep, and then they stop. And then they part, and then Imhotep walks up, and then the guy starts cowering. And then he holds up the vase, like that he wants, and he takes it from him. And then he still eats it. His mouth gets all big, and then he sucks him dry. You know what I mean?
Well, at least he saved the guys.
And Benny watches, just terrified. Yeah. He does save the guys.
He does save the guys. Yeah, I think that's the right move to start shooting. Like, because they pulled him off. I'm gonna die anyway.
Yep.
Might as well see what I can do. Might as well see as much damage as I can inflict at this point.
So right then, cut back to them. They wreck the car, and then they get surrounded completely. Imhotep.
Well, dude, the guy saved your life. Fucking make a play. What are you? What? You crashed the car? They'd be like, yeah, what? You fumbled? You fumbled after the guy blocked? Yeah, what the fuck?
So he walks up and
way to waste your offensive line effort. Good lord.
Come on.
Yeah.
And he goes, the creature is now fully formed. Right? And he's like, he is regenerated. And then he's speaking in Egyptian and the Imhotep. And then the Benny guy goes, come with me, princess. And I'll make you mine forever. And then she looks at him, she goes, he said for all eternity, you idiot. And he looks at him and he's like, yeah, he's like embarrassed. And so
the random comedy is really funny.
Yeah, they throw it in when they
yeah, when you don't expect it.
So and then he goes like in Egyptian, take my hand and I'll spare your friends, right? Mm-hmm. And then Brendan Fraser's like, any bright ideas? And he's like, think of something. And then she goes, well, if I turn into a mummy, I'm coming for you first. And he goes, no. And then she goes with him and she goes, no. And he pulls out a gun and she's like, no, wait. And he's like, no, he still has to take her to Hamanaptra to perform the ritual. This gives us some time. And then she goes with him, right? And then right as she walks away, Imhotep goes, kill them all! And she's like, no! And then they go, Imhotep, and they start closing in on him. And then the librarian guy, the boss guy, he's like starts slicing them and giving them a little bit of time. And then they start throwing he throws the Magi guy into the sewers. And then the Jonathan guy goes, what about my sister? He goes, we'll get her later. Throws her into the sewers. And then he gets into the sewer. He's like, come on. And the guy keeps slicing. He's like, come on, get in. And the guy's not listening. He's like, go, go. And he slices. And then all the slaves just kill that guy. And he closes the thing. Like, he sacrifices himself.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see where they got it from. That'd be so funny if they got it from the Mummy.
So,
what do we say to death? Not today? Is that the line?
Yeah. I think so. Not today.
Not today, and then he dies. So actually, today. You know, for him today.
So the next day, they're driving up on an airfield, right?
Yeah.
And it's the old drunk guy sitting there from earlier that was telling the old war story.
Yeah.
And he tells him how he asks Benny's like, I need a favor, blah blah blah, and he tells him how dangerous it's gonna be, and this excites him. And then he goes, well, what's the challenge? And he goes, well, we gotta rescue the damsel and save the world. And the old guy gets up all drunk, and he's like, Winston Churchill, or whatever his name is, at your service, sir.
Winston Churchill.
And then cut to them on the plane. Right?
That's the only British name I can make up.
I couldn't think of another one either.
Yeah.
They're on the plane and they're driving, and then Brendan Fraser's like behind him. It's like one of those kind of planes, like a two-seater. And then he looks over to the right and he goes, "You all right?" And it's Jonathan. He's just on a wing, like holding on for dear life, going, "Do I bloody look all right?" Ah! Like, right? And then he goes, and then he looks the other way and he goes, "Doing okay?" And And then the other guy just looks at him all pissed.
Yeah.
And he's just like holding on for dear life. Yeah. And they're just like on the wings of the plane, just holding on.
Yeah,
right?
that's fine. No harness.
No heart, no nothing. So, right then he goes, they see a sandstorm. The Winston guy goes, I've never seen a sandstorm that big. And then right then the Benny and Evie get thrown out of it. Mm-hmm. And then the Benny goes like, I need a new job. And then the sandstorm becomes Emotep. And then she looks up and she's like, oh my God, we're back that fast? And they're already back in Hamanatra.
Oh, well, wow. Emotep gets the job done.
Oh, yeah. And so she goes, right then though, she sees the plane and she goes, oh, Colonel. And then Emotep sees them, and then he causes a tidal wave sand. Like he lifts up his hands, and then like literally like a 50-foot wave of sand raises up, and then just starts chasing them.
That's
right?
Power.
Yeah. And so now they're flying, and then Winston's like, "Oh my God!" And then he's like, "Pedal faster, Winston!" And he's like, "Hang on, man!" And they dive right, and then now the sandstorm's just completely chasing them, right? And they're flying, and then the sandstorm becomes like Emotep's face.
Ooh.
Really cool.
Ooh.
And he's like trying to bite them, and then finally he gets them. You know what I mean? And then Benny's like, "Your friends will die." And then he's like, she looks at Emotep. She's like, "Stop! You're gonna kill them!" And he's like his eyes are closed. And then she goes, and then she grabs his face and just starts making out with him. And he's like, and then all the sand falls, and then the plane gets away. And then she's like, "Yeah, right." And then right then the plane starts fluttering, and then just crashes. And then she gets sad immediately again.
Yeah, dude, they keep fumbling these planes, bro.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, my God. Like those Packers.
So cut to them at the landing, right? And then they're all staggering off the plane. And right then he goes, "Winston! Hey, Winston!" And he goes up to him and he puts his hand on his neck. And
Winston's died.
Winston's dead.
Hey, well, he gets what he wanted.
Got what he wanted.
Also, is his name really Winston?
Yes.
Oh.
And so right then quicksand starts. And they're like, "Oh, get out of quicksand! Quicksand!" And then the plane starts sinking. And then they all watch Winston just go down.
Yeah.
It's really sad, actually. And then Brennan salutes, right? And so...
He's American, right?
Yeah, he's an American as well.
What the fuck?
Also, not an archaeologist at all.
Oh, really?
Just a member. No, remember? This whole movie has just been a war.
She's a librarian.
She's a librarian. There's no archaeologist in this.
Yeah, well, fuck me.
I just wanted to agree with you in the beginning.
Yeah, you piece of shit. You made me feel smart. Yeah, also, what war is Brendan Fraser fighting along with all these old British dudes?
Yeah. Where you're clearly American as fuck.
Yeah, right? We weren't into... That's not how war works. We don't send one American over.
So they're walking through the tombs, right?
Yeah.
And the little guy, the Benny guy goes, "Keep moving," to her, to Evie. And she stops and she goes, "Nasty little fellas like you always get their comeuppance." And he looks at her and she goes, "Always." And then he gets like real nervous.
Yeah.
He goes, "Keep moving," right? And then they dig into the tunnel. It shows like the Brendan Fraser and Jonathan and the Magi guy. They're digging.
Or you know what? Or they don't. Because life's sometimes a nightmare.
So Jonathan notices the blue gold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The blue gold on the wall that the prison guy noticed in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
And then he's like, "Oh, wow." And then he starts like picking it apart. Mm-hmm. And then he's holding one. And then it comes alive. And then it crawls in his hand immediately. And like starts crawling up his arm. And he's screaming, "Ah! Ah!" And then Brendan Fraser like cuts open his shirt and like pokes it out of his chest before it goes into his brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then right then, he shoots it. And then she like looks up Evie and she's like, "Oh, Connell." You know, like she's excited. Like she knows he's here.
Right.
So right then, Emotep hears it too, and he goes, grabs some dust, blows it on the wall, and then he says a chant, and then all the other mummy figures start coming alive out of the wall.
Nice.
Yeah, and he goes, "Find them with the others and kill them all."
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
I like these powers.
These crazy powers.
Good powers. Good powers.
So Brendan and the narrator now are sneaking into the other part of the building, and then Brendan Fraser uses the mirror trick that she used earlier to like light up all the room, and then when he does, they see that they are in the room with all the gold. So there is a treasure room. Everything in the room is just gold. Mountains and gigantic mountains and mountains and mountains of just gold and treasure and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean?
Pretty dope.
So they're looking at it. And then, of course, Fraser and the Magi are just walking through it, but the brother's like freaking out. And he's like, "Can you believe?" And then Brendan's like, "Yes." He's like, "But can we just?" He's like, "No." "But can no," right? And then as they walk through, and then they see a mummy start popping out of the ground, and then they're like, "Who are these guys?" And then the guy goes, "These are priests of Emotep." And then he goes, "All right then," and he just starts unloading on them.
Love it. Love it.
You know? Mm-hmm. So Benny comes in the room with all the gold just then, and he's excited as shit. He's like, "Oh," and he freaks out. Okay, and he just starts stealing all of it. Okay? So Evie wakes up, and she's tied to a table. And then a rat is on her, and she screams, right? She's like, ah! And pushes the rat off her chest, like with her body. And then what she does, she looks over, and she's next to the Nox and the Moon girl. And she's like, ah! And her dead corpse, like, right next to her face. Yeah. And she's like, oh, God, oh! Right? And so right then, the colonel is digging for the book. Yeah. And then more mummies come up, and then finally they find the gold book of Amun-Ra. They find it, right? And then the Magi guy goes in the tunnel, and then he like distracts all the other mummies. He's like, save the girl! Kill the creature! What are you waiting for? Get out! Get out! He's like, do it! And then he has a stick of dynamite, Brendan Fraser's like, and he throws it in the tunnel with the Magi guy, and then it blows up, right? And it gives him some time. So...
A lot of sacrifice in
this movie. Yeah.
And then they fumble somehow because some guys sacrifice themselves, and that's what they do. So
back at the table, everybody's going Nox and Amun, all the priests, all the mummified priests, and then he's got this black book, and then the water's coming up again. It's just like earlier, right? Nox and Amun, and she's flying over the thing, and then Evie's screaming like crazy, and then right then the body, the floating thing enters the body of Nox and Amun, and she wakes like ah. And then Imhotep's about to stab Evie as she's screaming. And then right then the brother comes in and he goes, I got it, Evie! And it's a gold book. And then Imhotep sees it and he goes, and then he starts going towards her. Right? And then she's like, what? And he starts running away. He's like, what do I do? And she's like, just read something from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so right then you see Brendan Fraser and he steals a big knife off the wall. And he starts sneaking up on Evie behind all the other mummies.
Right.
And
so no one notices him?
No.
They're too busy. Oh, yeah, here's my question, right? Yes. So the gold book can stop them.
Yes.
And we are in the tomb of Imhotep, what is it? Priest of Imhotep and all that. Why keep the book in the same place?
Yeah, they kept all three things in the same place.
Yeah.
These things should be separated all throughout Africa. Not even Egypt, like Africa.
Yeah. Also, they should have thrown something in the ocean at some point.
Yeah, one should have been in the ocean, one should have been in motherfucking one in Egypt, and then one thing in goddamn Mexico, nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right? That was the great thing about Harry Potter. Voldemort threw the Horcruxes around the world. They weren't all at Hogwarts.
Duh!
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad plan.
Yeah,
bad city plan.
He's touching the Pharaoh's...
Who's the city planner?
He's touching the Pharaoh's wife, so he's not the smartest. He doesn't think ahead a lot.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
So they're going back and forth, they're fighting, right? He's walking, and then right then he goes, the book is locked, I can't get it open. She goes, the key is in his robes. And he's like, great. Yeah. And then right then Brendan comes up and he starts killing all the mummies like a badass, right? Yeah. And then he is about to break her free, and then one of the mummies grabs him, and then he has to kill him last second before he gets squished. It's really cool. And then right then Jonathan keeps reading off the outside of the book, and then he reads some more Egyptian shit, and then wakes these intense ass soldiers who follow him, and then they start chasing after Brendan, right? And he's like, sorry, you know? And then she waits. So right then he looks at
there's a lot happening. This is constant
it's so much movement, bro. So they start coming after Brendan, and then Imhotep smiles, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes, he's like, this just keeps getting better and better. He hits him with Harrison Ford line.
Yeah.
And then and then she's like, well, he's like, what do I do now? She's like, read something else. And she's like, what? He's like, anything, you idiot. You can control them. And then right then, Nox and the Moon starts attacking Evie. You know what I mean? Trying to kill her. Right. So she's dodging her and screaming out advice to try and help him.
Right.
So Brendan's screaming at right then the warrior monster's trying to kill Brendan, and he goes, ah! Like he's about to stab one, and then they all go, rah! And their chins are dropped like a bunch, and then he goes, you win, and then he takes off running again.
Right.
And so he's running up the stairs. He's just trying to run away and survive. And he's fighting them off as he's running, and the Imhotep's still trying to get the Jonathan guy. You know what I mean? And so right then Brendan he kills one, and then he kills another, and he's running rounds down the stairs, and then Evie is still trying to help her brother. And he's like, I can't read this last word, and then Nox and the Moon choking her, and then she's like, what does it look like? And he's like, it looks like a bird or a stork, and then she's like, F-S, and he's like, oh, I see. And then right then all the things are about to kill Brendan, and then he goes, have Metaphus, and then they all stop. And then Imhotep looks at him and goes, yells, no, destroy them! And then Jonathan reads some more shit, and he goes, kill Nox and the Moon! And then all the soldiers go, and they go over to Nox and the Moon, and he's like, no! And then they stab her a million times, in the, that shot where she was stabbing the priest in the beginning, that kind of shot, you know? Oh. So they're stabbing her, right? And he's screaming, no! You know? And then right then, he grabs the Emotep. He's pissed. And he grabs Jonathan and he holds him up. And then right as he holds him up, he's about to kill him. And then Brendan comes through and he slices Emotep's arm off. And then right as he slices it off, like another arm grows. Grows out really quick, really cool. And then he goes, oh. And then Brendan, the Jonathan goes, I got the key. And he goes, I'll distract him. And he starts throwing Brendan Fraser like all over the tombs, like just beating the shit out of him, right? And so now him and Evie, they're opening the book and they're trying to find the right passage to get this. Right. And then he's like, any day now, as he's just getting his ass beat, you know what I mean? And then she goes, he's choking Brendan to death. He's choking him. He's about to kill him. And then finally she goes, I got it. Caddy smile. Padaloom. And then right then, Emotep looks back and he steps back, and then all these ghost soldiers, start riding out the wall, in a chariot.
On their ghost train?
Yeah, on their ghost chariot. It literally looks like that, on a ghost chariot. Yeah. And then it just rides through his body.
Ooh.
And he's like, ah! And he's looking confused, and then everybody's confused, and then Brendan Fraser's like, you didn't kill him? No! And then Emotep starts walking right towards him, and then Brendan Fraser just stabs him in the stomach, and then he's like, oh. And he looks down, and he's bleeding, and he's like, oh. And then he backs up. Yeah, he made him mortal. And so he backs up into the water, right? Mm-hmm. And then he as he's falling into the water, he starts falling down, and all these spirits grab him and bring him down, and he starts turning back into a mummy. And then as he does, he says something in Egyptian, mumbles something in Egyptian, I'll return, and smiles and just goes down. You know what I mean?
Okay, so they just had up a sequel.
We didn't say anything I'll return. He just says something. He mumbles something in Egyptian, smiles, and then it just goes down, kind of some Terminator 2 shit. Okay. You know what I mean?
Puts the thumb up.
Puts the thumb up, kind of shit. Yeah. So he walks into the water. So then Benny is still trying to steal more gold as all this is happening, right? He's been this whole time. This is the fight. He's been stealing gold Benny. And taking him out to the camels and putting him out to getting more. And then at one point he stops and goes, he had enough. He's about to leave, and then he looks back in the tomb and he's like, I want more, right? So this is the last one, and he's dragging it, and it's too heavy, right? And so he finally he needs a breather, and so he puts it on the wall, on this handle, and then of course the handle goes, and then all the walls start going, like in Titanic. All the walls start close, it was a secret door to make all the walls lock shut. Yeah. And so of course Brendan Fraser and they start panicking. They go, oh, and then they start running out the tomb. Right? And get running through all the walls. And then the brother, while holding the gold book, falls, and the book falls into the black water. And then the sister's like, you idiot! And then they have to keep running, right?
Way to fumble. Legit, straight up, an actual fumble.
So Benny is now trying to get the gold out, and he's like, it's too heavy, and he just leaves because he realizes he's going to get crushed if he does, crushed by the thing. So he's running out now, right? And so they're running, and then Jonathan stops in the room of gold, they're running through the room of gold now. And he's like, but can't we just? And they're like, no, run! And they keep running, and they slide out of the thing, and then Benny's right behind him, and he's like, O'Connell, wait! And he's trying to crawl out with him, and then O'Connell's actually trying to help him. He's like, come on, Benny, come on! He grabs his hand, and then the thing and then they let go, and so Benny no, and then so now Benny has to crawl back out before it crushes him into the room of gold, and so now he's just standing in the room of gold by himself as all the wall, and he's looking around, all the walls are sealed up, so now he's just in here by himself, and he's looking around at all this room of gold, and then now the top of the building starts coming down, and now all the mirrors are getting crushed, so all the lights start going out. It starts getting real dark, and he starts hearing all the bugs. And he sees one crawl up on a thing and it's looking at him. And he's like, go away, Shuzma. And then he sees millions. And they surround him in a little circle. He's like, Shuzma. Ah! And then the last and then you just hear, they just and you just hear him screaming, right?
Well, not a big surprise.
So outside,
you did you, Benny, though. You did you.
They're running, right? They're running for their lives. The statues and pillars are all falling down behind them. It literally looks like bombs are going off behind them, bro. Right. You know what I mean? The camels are running out the city, and just everything's blowing up. And so they turn back and they look, and it's just all the dust in the air, and they're holding each other. And as they're holding each other, a hand comes by and grabs the Jonathan guy, and they all go, ah! And it's the Magi narrator guy. He survived.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And he goes, thank you for everything that you've done and returning our city to peace. And then he rides off, right? And they're like, no problem. Stay out of trouble, And then he rides off. And then The Jonathan brother goes, well, I guess we all are going home empty-handed, huh?
And a camel with the gold.
Nope, Brendan Fraser goes, well, I wouldn't say that. And he grabs Evie and they start making out.
Okay.
And then Johnny goes, ugh. And then he looks at the camel and he's like, how about you, darling? A kiss for me? And he tries to kiss the camel and the camel's like actually kisses him. He's like, oh, God. You know what I mean? And then they get on the camel and they ride off into the sunset set and Brendan's still like holding her, kissing her. And then as the camera pans back, you see all the gold that Benny had put on the camels. They're riding on those camels and they don't even know it. They ride off the mummy. Brendan Fraser, you did it again.
I enjoyed that.
Good movie.
Yeah, you need to remake that.
I love that movie as a kid. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Why would you remake that? Cause corporate doing remakes cause we run out of ideas, making old movies even though we never did that before.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming back. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, corporate.
Fuck yourself.